it's like that interesting balance of, are you creating for yourself or are you creating for your audience?
Mm-hmm.
The answer, I think, usually is both. But
Yeah.
ultimately, it has to be fulfilling to you first, because you're going to, no matter what it is that you create, you're a writer, you're a painter, you're a podcaster, you're whatever it is, you're a street artist.
100%.
There's challenges with all of that. It's never a simple process. And so anytime I'm talking, I like to talk about our fails.
Mm-hmm.
I like to talk about using a double boiler to melt gold. I like talking about, when we first launched the Pure Leaf product, the tobacco wraps, version 1 was using Connecticut shade leaf wrapper, which is basically the most sought after cigar wrapper. And it has this beautiful mild taste. And my thinking at the time was, it's totally sound, but it was wrong. My original idea was that we're going to give people a better flavor. That's what's going to convert them over from a different product. But the practical matter was that it's a super fine, super thin leaf.
Mm-hmm.
And cigar rollers know how to work with it. But people that are rolling blunts do not. And so, people are like, yeah, it tastes pretty good, but I don't know how to roll something like this, because a backwood type of leaf and the tobacco that you use in that, which is broadleaf tobacco, it's much more durable and stronger. So it gives you a margin of error when you're using it. So version 1 was a total fail.
Yep.
People really didn't want that product. And so we went back into kind of research mode and broke the product down and said, okay, we just need to give them what they want, but a better version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some easy things that we could correct compared to what our competition was doing. So I always share that because it has to be messy.
Yeah.
It cannot be perfect. And people, whatever their kind of venture or passion is, a lot of times they just get stuck in that fear paralysis of, well, my thing needs to be perfect before I show it to the world. Newsflash, it's never going to be.
Yeah.
And you're never going to be fully happy with it. You're always going to see little things in it that no one else will.
100%.
And so that's why we kind of try to tell people, we just went fast. And our first website was trash. And our first pack wasn't cool.
Yep.
But it didn't matter because we got to plant the flag of being first. And being first meant something. And, when I'm talking about this, I tell people, when the iPhone 1 came out, it blew your mind. That they broke the mold with that thing. But my gosh, look at where the phone is now. So they didn't wait until they had the 10 figured out.
Yeah.
They put the 1 out and they said, you're going to go on this journey with us. And people clearly did.
Yep.
So I think it's the same thing with the creative process, that people want it to just feel authentic and real. They don't want it to be perfect or completely polished.
Yeah.
And so I try to, do my little part to remind people of that. It's just go, do it, break some shit. It's okay. The world isn't watching you the way that you think they are.
Not
it's
at all.
okay to have some packaging that isn't right. I'd rather you get your pickles on the shelf than wait to have the money to have the perfect pickle jar. No one cares about that stuff the way that you do.
Yeah. And well, and when you move fast, right, the market reveals what you need. You get feedback more readily. I think that's huge. And that's definitely been a strategy.
One of the most important things.
Right.
It really is. And that's why, I mentor entrepreneurs in various categories, and it goes back to my thing about the lifestyle brand. Everyone wants that. Everyone wants to feel like their thing is cool enough where everyone's going to wear it. And that just doesn't happen on day one. You have to build something that people really they connect with the experience, and therefore they feel like they're part of your tribe to wear your shirt or your hat. And we're not talking about grandma and your aunt and your best friend. Like, we have to get outside of that circle before we start looking at that. And, embrace the creativity, embrace the messiness. And the market telling you what you need to do is the most important thing. Like, that's how you learn how to be sustainable and how to be viable. Your ideas about it really take a back seat, and it's about what are they willing to give you money for. I could have been proud about my cigar idea and said, nope, this is what we're doing. We're going to go all in on this. And you give it a fair, try and effort for sure. But at some point, the market's telling you whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
So certainly a lot of people they become tone deaf to that, or just have their blinders on and miss it. And, it's pivoting is a part of the process. It's not, the first thing you do or the first version of what you do. I think, hey, if you hit it on that one, congratulations, you're a unicorn. I find that that's very rarely the experience. And if people do that, a lot of times you'll find in their background they did 20 other things.
Or 100%. No, I think that's huge, because you become more of the effort is being put in, and you take your ego out of it more. And of course, like, you want to make art, and like you said, it's important to connect with what you're doing at a certain level and primary level, so that you are excited about doing it always. But I think that's huge, because where do these ideas really even come from? Arguably, they're not your own anyways. So calm down and and just keep finding, and then you become in a position of service more, which is a much more fulfilling place to be than a position of I'm telling the people what they need and want. And you might be right about that some occasions, like you said, but
I think
it's important to know when you're not.
I totally agree. I think that anytime you're doing something where you're a tastemaker, that people do it. It's tough though. Yeah. And I think that it's a pretty rare skill. I don't think everyone has a great fashion line in them. I think that that's a specific DNA and skill set, but you really can't learn until you start doing. So you might start there and say, hey, I'm passionate about my clothing line, and find that you're just not, you're not going to be the next Supreme or whoever you're looking up to. But through that process, you may find, what's killing me is, like, I need software that does this. Where is it? And you go on that hunt, and it doesn't exist. And then you start talking to a couple of people that do what you do, and they're like, yeah, I could use that too. Like, I need help organizing my orders and my vendors and my materials or whatever it is. And now you become a software entrepreneur, and that's really what your thing is. So doing and failing, doing and learning, it's not even failing. Like, you're just learning, and, it's an opportunity to grow. So my pain point with entrepreneurs or young creatives is when they're hiding their shine from the world. They're insecure, or they're not ready, or they're fearful, or they're scared of what could happen if they just put it out there. And we know where you will end up if you never put it out there.
True.
Right?
True.
Here.
Yeah.
So at some point, you just got to take that leap of faith and say, all right, like, I'm going to roll the balls out, and I'm going to play a little bit, and I'm going to see how people react to it. And maybe I thought I was going to design hats, but people just love my shoes. All right, give them the shoes, and maybe come back to the hats at a different time. That share, and that all just ties all the way back down to share your shine. Don't hide it from the world. Whatever your independent, unique ability is, which we all have them, share that, do it, give it to the world, or else you're just kind of, in a way, you're being selfish by denying it to the outside.
100%, man. I really vibe with that.